Hello, I'm Dylan from Dotson Watches, and I want to do some commentary over this build video I did. This was a custom order, sterile dial, Royal Oak homage build using, of course, the NH35 movement from Seiko. Absolutely beautiful, robust, awesome movement, gets the job done, and it is dirt cheap. Well, it used to be dirt cheap, now it's about $60 a movement. Still excellent value for money. This was more of a assembly and less of a mod. All the parts they're meant to go together. I didn't have to remove the dial feet. It only came with one set, 3 o'clock dial feet. I did have to kind of bend them and adjust them so that they would go into the dial feet holes correctly. This video would be good for somebody that is already kind of like assembles watches or is into modding, and they just wanted to see how the Royal Oak mod goes together. Watch it start to finish here. Before we put the hands on, that's what we're doing there, kind of flipping the time over. Once it flips from 2 to 3, you know you're exactly at 12 o'clock. So for the hour hand application, you can put it directly 12 o'clock hour marker and know it's in the right place and that it's going to be correct as it goes through its full 12 hours. I use a piece of Rodco on the end of a watchmaking stick. This is an excellent way to kind of position your hand and then press with the other hand. I had to switch over to the soft movement because when you're using a 33mm dial, or I think this is like 31.5, but it's too big for the NH35, and the NH35 holders are fit perfect. So I pushed it over the soft one so I could get everything back in place, push the dial back onto the movement. And then of course, I like to polish every hand because when you buy stuff from AliExpress, I buy everything from AliExpress. It's inexpensive and most of the time it's excellent quality, everything I get. So you gotta send it back if it's not, but this was good quality, just had some smudges, have to clean it up a little bit. So I use a plastic stick wrapped with a polishing pad. Next, the minute hand. So this has got to go on perfectly over top the hour marker at 12 o'clock so that the time will flip at midnight. As you see, I'm about a minute off. I didn't press the hand on all the way, so I can kind of push it over. But once it's on there, you're kind of, that's where it's going to be. This watch does end up turning the date at 12:01 a.m., which for me that's all right. For $200 watch, custom made, I'm going to keep it moving with that. And they're going to polish the hand, make sure they're parallel, press them into place, don't over push them. And now the second hand, which this used to be like the worst part, now I can do it first try almost every time. It's a minute and hour hand I get stuck on, trying not to bend them up. So the second hand sits down, it's like a little hat, goes on the pinion. Give it a press, make sure it's parallel, easy work. So once it's in position, you're going to start your movement. So you should be at the time setting, the third position. Press it back in, now the second hand will start moving. If it doesn't, just give it a couple, spins, maybe a shake, and it'll get going. With it moving though, I look under magnification, make sure everything's parallel. That all passed the test. You can adjust it by pressing on the back of the hand, try and bring it up, but it's a pain. Now here we can see, look, perfect 90-degree angle, everything sets right, perfect 180 degrees. This is why it's important that the minute hand and the hour hand are right on top of each other at 12 o'clock, because then when they go around the rest of it, it's all correct. If this was messed up, I would remove the hands and reapply them. There's a little set of tools like this, pops them off, dial protector, the whole thing. I have a video on it somewhere. So then you got to use your blower, make sure there's no dust, get everything all clean. Cleaning the crystal, takes forever. I cut a lot of it out of the video, but just wiping it down, blowing it out, doing it until everything's absolutely perfect. Because especially it's the inside of the crystal that matters. Because once you put this watch together, is it a pain to remove it just to get a little smudge or a little speck of dust off the dial, which of course I would. Even an amateur watchmaker making $200 watches, I'm going to make sure everything is perfectly clean. That's where most of the time is spent. So yeah, speed up this, blow, wipe, look under magnification over and over again until it's absolutely perfect. And that's watchmaking. Most of the time it's done in a lab with everything sterile. Here I'm in my bedroom in the corner on a table, but you work with what you have. This is a process that's taken quite a bit of practice. Most of the time you just flip the movement over onto the dial holder and it's perfect, but when you have a larger dial, you have to kind of hold it up, pull the crown while pressing the release at the same time. It takes a little practice, but there you have it. Here we use the soft movement holder so you can place the case down over it. Make sure, again, no dust, clean it all up well. So you can already see this is going to be a beautiful watch. The Royal Oak is from the 70s. It was made by Gerald Genta, one of the first actually like famous watch designers. This was one of the first of its kind, or it was the first of its kind, a luxury sport watch made out of stainless steel and cost $3,500. At the time, you could buy, I think, a Rolls Royce for that price. So this was a very expensive watch. It was a huge risk, but Gerald Genta is very famous for doing it, so it worked out. He got the inspiration for this design from, as a boy, watching a man be put into a scuba suit, which back in like the 30s or 20s, whenever he was a kid watching it happen, they'd have these big steel helmets and then they were bolted in to it. So like that man's life depended on that being watertight, and those stainless steel bolts would be tight enough and precise enough to let no air in. So the outside, the rugged octagon case with stainless steel bolts that you can see the stainless steel screws, you can see the screw heads, which at the time was not what you would expect in a $3,500 watch. In today's money, $30,000 to $50,000, for a stainless steel watch where you can see the screws. But we know the risk paid off. This changed the watch industry forever. It's a very famous watch. It's copied all the time. The Casio, for example, it's very common. Beautiful sports watch. The integrated bracelet is what I think it's all about, having that, the way it catches and plays with the light. That's why you buy this watch, or why you would wear an homage. It's beautiful, and it's rugged and kind of tough, and at the same time elegant and flashy. This will be waterproof, so it is water resistant. We use the O-ring, I do everything correctly, grease it, and then by tightening it down, it will be able to go in the water without trouble, hopefully. That's ideally. Here we're going to cut the stem down to size. Boring process. This uses a plastic movement holder that is very common in NH35 builds and mods. The movement is meant for a 28.5 millimeter dial, and that's a 33, so there's all this extra space. So you put that plastic in there, it holds everything in, and you can put your crown stem in. To cut the crown stem, this is like the most boring part of every watch, but you have to do it well. You put your crown and stem in, and then you measure from the end of the crown to the middle of the threading, or the start of the threading. So in this case, it looks about 4.7 millimeters need removed from the entire crown stem. All NH35 stems are 21.5 millimeters. I just take it out 21.5, then zero it and push into my 4.7. This tells me the size I want the stem to be at the end. I've kind of learned this, whatever works best for me. So you'll see I'll pop it out and try and grab it where it needs cut. I pick it up, it acts as like a guard. So I know I'll use my cutters, push them all the way down to like my tweezers, and then squeeze it off. I always cheat back. I cheat so that I have a little extra room. And it looks like, yeah, I did good. I cut it within a millimeter. So all I have to do is file away a millimeter. And that's easy. You just file a little bit, recheck the size, file a little bit, get it to the 4.7. And sometimes, even if you get it exactly at what your measurement was, it won't press on and do, so you just have to customize it. File a little bit away, measure, put it into the watch, release it, make sure it fits well. It's like vital that it has enough space that when you unscrew it, it pops back out and you can wind the watch and set the time, but also enough that when you push it, there's like a spring in there, that it goes all the way flat against the case. That's very important to make sure the watch is waterproof. If there's any space there, water will get in there. Inevitably, eventually water will get in there. Hopefully this watch stays together for 5-10 years without needing to be opened up and serviced again. So it's extremely important that everything's greased and that it's watertight. And that crown and nose threading is a big part of that. Next, we're going to put a little Loctite. Once we have it, perfectly sized, put a little blue Loctite. It's medium Loctite. It's plenty for something like this. And now once you have your time set and you press that in, you do not want to mess with your crown for 24 hours. So this watch is done. I'm not going to mess with that crown for 24 hours. It's going to stay the way it is. But we can keep working so that we can put the back on. This is the fun part of this case, and this is probably what you want to see if you're getting ready to build one yourself, is how this goes on. This was tough to position it well so that there was no space in there. This is the second one I've made of these. The first one I had a hell of a time with the O-ring. But it's, again, very important that the O-ring does go on there, and you keep spinning that around and pressing on it so that everything's flat. There's no space between the case back and the case, and that the O-ring is positioned where it's supposed to be. The trick is sometimes to put it on the case back, because you'll see there's not like a lip in most cases. And now when applying the screws, they gotta be tight. So it's kind of like doing a car wheel. Again, I'm not a mechanic, but I know that's how they do putting the wheel back on, here to there and like diagonally, so that it tightens down. You can't just go in a circle. So make sure you do that, tighten it down, do the triangle, and you'll be fine. Next, we're just going to throw the bracelet on. Absolutely, I think the bracelet is what this watch is all about. Integrated bracelet, the way it plays with light. It's like a rugged look, but at the same time like elegant, beautiful. This looks great on a rubber strap. I actually got a rubber strap for this, but forgot you had to buy like a conversion kit. So the next AP Royal Oak I do will be on the rubber strap, but this is the classic design. This is what you want if you want this watch most times, that absolutely beautiful bracelet. And again, just still a very masculine, though elegant watch. It's awesome. And if you don't have tens of thousands of dollars, $200 for this, and you can feel the quality of it. Like the bracelet's stiff, it will last for a long time. Everything's waterproof. This watch will, it'll be worn and loved for years to come. And it's easy to fix. You buy a whole new movement, replace it. It's awesome.